Payseurs revisited by Anna von Reitz. I have been bombarded with people all alarmed about the Payseurs, the legendary family of supposedly, but, as I already explained, Payseurs is not a name, it is a title, purser, or paymaster. And in this case, the pursers in question are the paymasters of the French army. A hereditary office under the system of bastardy within the Holy Roman Empire. So, get on your thinking caps. How did the Payseurs, aka pursers, become so rich? By using the French army in America, aka United States Army, which Britain obligingly subcontracted to France because the French Territorial Government actually owns the British Territorial Government. Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Essentially, what they did, was they horned in our international land jurisdiction functions after the Civil War and claimed, falsely, to own the railroads and all things connected to the railroads. They set up and profited from vast railroad monopolies and consolidated this protected industry as a trust plus holding companies, similar to the way the modern-day scions of these same entities use the epithet, national security interest, to protect their interests and keep their nasty activities secret. My point to you is that the Interlocking Trust Directorate that owns and controls all this is not the private property of the Spring, aka Springsteen family, nor any family with the surname Payseur. It's being operated by the French, United States Army, which shouldn't even be here in any such capacity at all, and all that nasty business taking place down in North Carolina via the officers of the old DoD, NSA lash-up, is ultimately controlled through Benelux, through Switzerland, and finally, Rome. There it is again, the great spider, the municipal government polyglot, spinning the aforementioned tangled web. All we really need to do is finish our state jural assemblies, call a continental congress, officially nationalize all the railroads and banks, break up the interlocking trust directorates for vast international crimes and as products of monopoly interest, and return the credit and profit where it is due, to the states and the people, who have been harmed by their own employees and by trustees and governments obligated to serve in good faith. Of course, those who have profited from all this fraud, and there are many, are loath to give it up and don't know how the world turn without them. In some part, some of them are truly alarmed, and not just for their own skins. After all, the British Territorial Government subcontracted French, Benelux, Swiss, Rome, United States Army, has been operating this way for a long time without any oversight, and certainly without the knowledge of the Americans. This particular United States Army, which seized control of all the railroads and banks in this country and created this monster, which cheated us and the Arab nations, is now shut down for 90 days awaiting receipt of a new French territorial charter. It all needs to be busted, and those responsible need to be prohibited from creating, operating, shareholding, managing, or profiting from any corporation ever again. When a country grants a charter to incorporate a business, it is granting a privilege. That privilege must be revoked when an incorporated entity is caught red-handed in criminal activity, and those responsible must not be allowed to abuse the privilege. As you will note, France and Germany are suddenly all chummy and taking a stand against nationalism in Britain and the United States, Canada, Japan, Australia, and wherever else people wish to have control of their own names, labor, bodies, and public and private assets again. I suppose that they are hoping that the German people have been sufficiently beaten down and psychologically damaged and guilted until they are afraid to say "shuss" to the EU, and that the rank-and-file French will be bought off by a few extra EUs, too. So far they have been offered the equivalent of one decent bicycle per year, per family, to go along with this crazy criminal scheme. One is reminded of the Borg of Star Trek fame, as the leaders of certain countries, Merkel, Macron, and Trudeau, hypnotically repeat their mantras, "Cow farts damage the environment." We must diaper the cows of Germany and France. Farmers must pay. Everyone must pay to breathe. Don't you all feel guilty for living? Give us all your land and your names and your time and your money and your children and live in eternal bogus debt as slaves for us. Resistance is futile. Resistance is futile. When is everyone going to wake up and realize that all of this is nothing but a gigantic criminal usurpation of power by crooks and dishonest employees? We hired them. We can fire them. We don't have to wait for new elections. We can point to the 50,000 ways they have betrayed our national trusts, embezzled our money, lied to us, proposed to give away our national sovereignty for us with the Paris Accords. counterfeited our money, stolen our identities, bilked friendly nations in our names for their profit, and the list goes on. So, arrest the filthy crooks as they did in Iceland. And not just the bankers, the Payseurs, the Paymasters who are keeping all this fraud rolling. Please hit subscribe, like, share and get ready for many more Anna von Reitz videos.